What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com. Coming back to you with another live video. We're here with my good friend, Alex Moss, who is I believe the founder and the creator. I'm not sure, but he runs Tactical Arbitrage. And this is such an appropriate time to have Alex on right now. Number one, because he's been such a pillar in the community. He's helped so many people. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people that I know in the reselling community has benefited from Alex's tool, Tactical Arbitrage, which is linked down below if you're wondering what Tactical Arbitrage is. But really excited to have Alex on today because right now one of the biggest struggles and challenges that a lot of resellers are dealing with, especially the Rake and Profit audience who are so accustomed to going to thrift stores and garage sales and estate sales, is we're having a hard time finding inventory. And with Alex's tool, and we're going to show you step by step how to use it, you can actually source products and have them shipped directly to you, or even have them shipped directly to Amazon with his tool. Over 500, I believe over 500 sources. So this is going to be a really awesome show. Alex, you've been in the community for years now. Close friends with a lot of my friends like Nate McAllister, Chris Green. So really pumped to have you here. How are you doing, man? You're from down under, right?
Thanks for having me on the show, mate. Yeah, from down under in Queensland. Dealing with the same stuff you guys are dealing with in the rest of the world right now, under lockdown. But how's that going for you guys?
Man, I just moved to the city in Miami, Florida. And when I first moved here about 2 months ago, it was jam-packed and it was crazy. And, the streets are about 95% less populated now. So, I mean,
Wow.
People are really taking it serious for the most part. I mean, Miami is known to be one of the craziest cities. So there's some parties and things going on that you may or may not have seen on the news for anyone watching in the States right now. But yeah, man, just bunkering down and studying and learning and growing, and really excited to have you on because this is something that I've always wanted to learn so much about. I've had so many of my friends talk about tactical arbitrage, online arbitrage. And I know a lot of the folks who are watching, I'm sure you've heard the term online arbitrage, which is in a sense sourcing online and buying products that are undervalued and selling them on Amazon, eBay, other sources for a profit. So this is exciting, man. So why don't you introduce yourself? I know I've given a little background of who you are, but can you give a little bit more in depth of what you do, tactical arbitrage, maybe your story in terms of how you got into this community, so on and so forth?
Yeah, sure thing. So my name is Alex, and my history is working in film and television. So film and TV is a fantastic industry. It's a lot of fun. It's great people, but it's not always consistent. There's not always work on, and there's not always it's not always super profitable. Some of the time, as much as Hollywood paints it as like this this magical sort of journey, some of the time you're struggling to get by week to week with the jobs that are coming in, and the jobs might be great, but you might not always be flush with cash. So the idea behind sort of getting into Amazon in a big way was to supplement my income. I've come from a sales background. My father, who's now passed, always brought me up with a sales background, and I've always been, like, from a very young age, flipping things on eBay and etc. And I thought I'll get back into the selling to sort of supplement that income, and Amazon FBA seemed like the most logical choice for 100 reasons that many people are familiar with. It's just so turnkey. You send your products in to eBay, you've got to spend 45 minutes writing this description and trying to basically sell, whereas Amazon, you're just dropping a product straight onto the existing ASIN and just walk away and let Amazon do their work, which is fantastic. So I really liked that. I didn't have a lot of time, and that was just perfect for me, just to source the products and put them into Amazon. But one thing came really quickly apparent to me as I sort of started in the industry. It's just that the sourcing part of things was just a pain in the backside, for want of a better term. There was this whole scenario where you had to go to a clearance website and cut and paste the title and drag it over to Amazon and paste it in there and wait for the search, and then you'd say, well, I can see there is a bit of difference in the prices. Now I have to get out the Amazon calculator and check out if there's going to be any margin in this. And just to look at one product was, it could take minutes. And so for you to sit there and actually go through an entire clearance page on a sale on one website, you might lose your whole day and find 2 or 3 items. And I really liked the idea of selling on Amazon, but I couldn't see a way to make it sort of profitable with all the time that it took. So the idea was I'll make myself some software, coming from a producer background. So I'll produce a piece of software that would make my life, many times easier and get to those, profitable items a lot quicker. So as I worked on it and it became clear that this was making, my life just significantly easier, I decided to consider making it, available to other people as well. And then that became a full-time thing, just building on and building on and building on this. And what began as just a one-page website where you could just enter a category on a domain and just spit out a few profitable products has become like this monster, which might seem daunting at first when you first look at the dashboard, but it's actually still built on the same fundamentals that it originally inspired the growth of it in the first place. And it's just a lot more powerful and quicker than ever before at finding those items for you over the years that we've evolved it. So everyone knows what arbitrage is. It's buy low, sell high, and usually from one marketplace to another marketplace. And that's essentially what Tactical Arbitrage was built on the backbone of that, that ideology.
So you're saying essentially what your software does is it goes out and it finds deals online based on your criteria. So you set like a criteria of maybe how much you want to pay or a certain store, and it will go out and find those deals, or does it essentially have its own brain in a sense where it already knows what you want based on where you're selling it, and it goes out and finds it and brings it back to you? How does it exactly work?
So it's more like a toolkit. It's kind of like if you're going to go fishing, I've given you the fishing rod, and then you walk out into the, you decide whereabouts you want to fish and where you want to cast the rod, etc. It does do a little bit of the work for you. There is actually a new feature which I can show you when we get into the screen sharing, which actually goes and does some fishing for you and just finds you some little morsels there to enjoy. But ideally, what you would want to use Tactical Arbitrage for is to point and shoot and say, okay, so I'm a smart guy. What I've done is I've gone and I've signed up for a bunch of different domains that exist within Tactical Arbitrage for their newsletters, and I'm maybe funneling those into a second email. And every morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to check that email, and I can see that, okay, today we've got a sale on at Walgreens for 25% off using this code, or we might have something happening over at Target or Walmart, et cetera, et cetera. So that'll all come through to you, and then you'll use that as your focal point to find the items that you're looking to then turn around and flip on FBA.
Oh, wow.
On FBA. So that's like, a lot of people don't do that. They'll jump into the software and they'll go, well, where do I start? You've got to sort of know where to look to begin your journey, and that way you'll get to those items a lot faster. It's not a very complicated education, to be honest. Some people get into it and then they say, this is too hard in the first couple of days, whereas if they really just worked out 3 or 4 core fundamentals, then they could be finding those items immediately. So I think anybody who sort of sticks with it past sort of 1 month is finding items regularly.
It's so true. You hear a lot of people, and this isn't just your software, but any software in general, they say it's too complicated and they quit, which some softwares are a lot more complicated than others. But again, I have quite a few friends of mine who are OG members of the Green Room, which is a membership site that we've been running for over 5 or 6 years. And every single time we go to the meetup, there was about a good 15 to 25 people there who are leading the pack in terms of sales. on Amazon, and the online arbitrage guys, all of them are using your software. Every single one of them are using the software, but they do say, you know, it takes time. You do have to learn the fundamentals. You have to watch some videos. You have to go through it, but it's not anything that's like rocket science. So that's really exciting. That's really, really exciting. This is something that works as well. So if you guys are at home right now and you're trying to figure out how to source, you're definitely going to want to tune into this video, because we're going to be going into a screen share in a couple of minutes, and Alex is going to be sharing with you exactly how to do product research. So I want to know, for the people who are watching live right now, I don't know if Alex is going to play the role of a DJ and take requests, but instead of songs, maybe take requests of stores that we can source. Is that something that I can say, like, what store can we source from? And then
we can definitely try that. I can't guarantee that the store that we get, you know, called out has a promotion on at that time or an item that's currently profitable, but we can have a crack at it. I mean, I can start by just showing you sort of one store, and then you can sort of we can do some searching. I can do some Q&A. I can do whatever you like. It definitely does work. You know, the thing about business is it's all numbers, and at the end of the day, it's all just mathematics. And so if you find an item with $5 profit and you can tell that it sells, you know, 10 times a week, and that there's only one other person on the buy box sharing it with you, then you can extrapolate from that you're going to be able to sort of move a certain amount of items. You multiply that over many items, and then bingo, you've got an income. So it is exactly as the name implies. It's tactical arbitrage, and
that's cool.
So I can jump in and share the screen if you like. You might already have the screen sort of ready there, and then I can start with a search or whatever you like. You can let me know what do the people want.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you get ready. I'm going to shout a couple people out, because we got a bunch of people, almost 100 people watching live right now, and it is growing as the show develops. So let's shout some people out, and I'll let you get ready. We got Pamela in the house. We got Mr. Stevie Solutions saying hello. We got eBay Treasure Hunter saying, yes, I'm excited. I've been waiting for this. Question for you, Alex. Most of your user base who are subscribed to Tactical Arbitrage, and again, if anyone's wondering what this is or how it works, we have a free trial in the description. If you go to rakeandprofit.com/TA, I believe I have a code RAKEN10, which I believe that extends the trial. I'm not sure if it gives a discount, but I think it just extends the trial. But try it out. I think it's a 10-day free trial. But a question I have from eBay Treasure Hunter, well, not a question, but it inspired a question. Most of your users, are they using this to sell on Amazon, or do they also use this to sell on eBay? What is your thoughts on this? Who's the perfect reseller in terms of platform for Tactical Arbitrage?
So the software's been tailor-made around Amazon FBA, and so that is essentially how the fees are calculated when when the calculation goes in at, say, you buy at $10 and you're selling over here, it's calculating it as Amazon, and it deducts what Amazon's FBA fees are. That being said, there is an option in the system to set it for merchant fulfilled, which is also Amazon related. And I've always been looking to get to the point where I feel like the software has reached that perfect moment where I can just easily just sort of slot in eBay as a secondary sales channel. So that's been in the job list forever. There's certain things that we're actually doing to the software. We're rewriting some of the code in a more advanced architecture and framework at the moment, which I want to complete that first. But bringing it into the world of eBay is a natural next step progression for Tactical Arbitrage. I just don't want to like call anything too early until it's until it's all set in stone and we've checked into the details of the APIs, etc.
Most of the people I've talked to have all been Amazon sellers who have used this. So for the folks out there who are, again, looking for another income stream, another side hustle, maybe you're selling on Amazon already and just can't get stuff anymore, you want to watch this video. This isn't one of those videos where I had some random software guy reach out to me. I get emails all the time with these softwares, Alex, and they want me to like review or have them on the channel. This is something where like he's been a pillar of this community for years now. How long's Tactical Arbitrage been around?
I started building it in 2015, but it was released in April of 2016.
Yeah, so this software's been popping for a while, guys. So don't feel like this is a software where like it's not really proven. And like if you see Alex in his Facebook group, he's literally taking requests and improvements. Like he's one of those guys who like I like it because I can tell your ear is always down to the ground. You're always trying to find ways to improve it.
Well, I learned a long time ago. There's a book, and what is it? 7 Secrets of, I don't know. You probably know the name of the book, but one of the main things is like, never expect that you're the smartest person in the room. Always listen to other people. Always take the input from everybody around you, and then that's how we can make the best thing available to us. And I also do that with my developers as well. I make sure I never hire a developer unless I know for a fact that they're 15 times smarter than me. And all I can do is just give the instructions to those guys as to how to do what I feel like may be the impossible, and they work the magic behind the scenes. So Platinum Wholesale Group's got a good question there, by the way. He says,
yes.
Is that a digital pinball machine or a real one? So this is my hobby. That's a real one. That's actually a tiny one, 3/4 size. It's called Safecracker, but I have another 20 in the house. And it's
20.
Yeah, my wife's forever saying there's no room. Why did you buy another one?
That's awesome. That same person who commented saying he or she had heard about this, your software. It appears they do wholesale. They said they were on the fence, so they're really excited about this webinar to get a couple of their questions answered. So I say we dive in, but right now, one thing I need you guys to do right now is go in the comments and say, I'm ready to learn. Smash that like button and say, I'm ready to learn, and we're going to dive in. Let's get Alex rocking and rolling. We're going to do a tutorial live, show you guys what's going on, how to use this software so you can go out there. And again, there's a coupon code below to get a free trial for 10 days. So go out and use this, apply it, start getting some profitable products found and sourced, and, rock and roll and learn, and then YouTube and watch videos. And hopefully this answers a lot of questions. So I'm going to add I'm going to put your thing on the screen. I'm going to take my banner off. And if you're ready to rock and roll, man, let's go. And I'm going to mute myself and let you take the mic.
I'll just say with that code that you had on the screen there, I will have to check with Julie, but traditionally she doesn't have a space between the Riken and the 10. So maybe if you're at home and you're going to try that, try Riken 10 without the space between that.
Without the space. Okay.
Usually, yeah. I don't know whether or not she's done something different for you, but I just saw that and I thought that's not like how Julie normally makes it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay. I fixed it. There we go.
No worries. All right, cool. James Isaac says, I love using TA. Thank you, James. It's nice to always hear people who are enjoying the software. Let's just jump on in. When you first open up Tactical Arbitrage, this is what you'll see. So this is just a dashboard. It tells you what you've got operating at any one time. So that you could have a product search running, a reverse search running, wholesale search, or library. We'll probably focus on product search today because that's the online arbitrage channel. However, one good thing, if you are running a full suite, which will unlock all of these modules, it's always wise. I tell people to try and keep these dots green, because if you've got a green dot here, it means you're running a scan in one of those modules. And if you've got 4 green dots, that's 4 potential sources of income you can have simultaneously. The more income streams you can manage to bring in, the better. But on this page here, you'll also find some pretty easy menu links, how to dive into some searches that you've got currently going on, and some tools there called Tactical Edge, product variations, your settings page, etc. But product search is where we wanted to focus. And if you're a brand new user to TA, you won't see the complicated advanced screen here. You'll see a very basic screen. Now, the basic screen's for people who are just starting out and they don't want a cockpit of an airplane to start. They just want to basically point and shoot. But there are a couple of limitations on this page, and that's why I tend to sort of live in the advanced page. However, if you're brand new, you might just want to come on here and select a starter search like 511 tactical, select a category to search, and then start a search. It's just going to tell you if you find any profitable items with any recognizable sales doing that. But I like to jump into advanced search. So There's a couple of different ways you can do a search. You can do a search which is UPC products only. Now, what that'll do is it'll basically look for the barcode items on the source domain, and it'll also try and match those against the barcode number over at Amazon. And that's always going to be a nice healthy match. If those 12 or 13 digit numbers are an identical match over at Amazon, then it gives you a pretty nice feeling that you've found a perfect match. However, universal product code sites are only this many sites, and that looks like a lot because we've been around for a long time, and so we have added a lot of different domains from every letter of the alphabet. And if you want even more stores, you can untick UPC sites and products only, and you'll see significantly more. And Steve's right, there is hundreds and hundreds of stores to choose from. Not only is there hundreds and hundreds of stores to choose from, but there is an advanced setting built into every tier of Tactical Arbitrage, which allows you to insert some code and add your own stores that other people may not be searching at. Now, that's a bit more advanced, and you might want to hire a coder off Upwork if you're going to go down that route, and we won't cover that today, but the sky's the limit with TA. So in addition to the stores that are baked right in, you can also add your own. So now, normally what I would encourage people to do is go in and find stores that you can use source price adjustments. Now, I'll get into that in a moment. But basically what that means is, let's say I've chosen Target, okay? And Target, let's say, has a 10% site-wide off sale. I would want to make sure that you always include those reductions into this filter. It's one of the most important filters you choose. And if you go to the basic view, it's really one of the only filters that we have there as to input. There's site discounts and there's your costs. So we'll come back across to advanced. We've chosen Target, and let's choose Target Toys. Now, I don't want to open up a lot of brackets, but I should just say that you don't want to necessarily play in the most commonly played in playground, because you're more likely to stumble across products that other people are also finding. There is so many sites to choose from with so many categories. We're talking about tens and tens of thousands of categories by the time you spread it across all the sites, that just going to Target Toys is not necessarily your best bet. But for the sake of showing you how a deal works, we're going to just do Target Toys, add to bulk, because we're creating an easy bulk here, which will allow up to 500 categories. And then you go down to source price adjustments. I've got it set for automatic, so it's telling me that over at Coupon Cactus, they're giving 0.5% cash back, which isn't a lot. And over at Card Cash right now, they're giving gift cards at up to 9% off. And then I would also go in then and I would have a rank filter. So I would say remove ranks over, and I've got that set for 10% of the Amazon rank. So 10% of the Amazon rank would be up to 831,000 rank in toys. But I could reduce that if I wanted to just go to top 7% or top 4%, etc. And then there's a bunch more filters, and you really don't need to worry too much about it. I don't want to complicate things, but there are filters from everything from number of reviews and ratings to price ranges, or if the word bundle is in the title over at Amazon, you might not want to search anything which has got the word bundle in it. There's all sorts of ways you can actually fine-tune this, but I'm one of these guys that I put all these filters in here and then I don't use any of them, because I find that I'd rather see more items appear on my results page and then cherry pick from there the kind of things that I want to look at more and filter it down more on the results page. What I do is I put a return on investment, and I make sure it's a positive number. I always keep that single digits as well. Now, you might say, why would you put, say, 5% or 1% return on investment there? Well, the reason is that let's say a product is selling with just a 1% return on investment, and you say, well, that's absolutely useless to me. But you might find, A, that's a merchant fulfilled product, and that gives you more wiggle room in what you can price the product at. You can usually price higher as an FBA product than a merchant fulfilled. And secondly, if you drill into it, you might find that the guy only has 2 of these items available on the shelf, and that the very next priced guy is priced $3 higher. So you can actually price higher. I'll show you what I mean by that. So we'll start a search here. I've got everything set up here. And I just hit the search button here. What have I done? I'll hit the search button. Oops, easy bulk on. Hit the search button. So that target search is operating in the background now. And while I'm here as well, I will start a new search. Now, it used to be that you could only start one search at a time, and you would have to wait for the entire search to complete before you started your next one. So last year, I spent a lot of time with the developers, and I said, we really need to make it so people can do multiple searches at once, because, you know, it's go back to that fishing rod analogy. And I'm not a big fisher, but my dad was a big fisherman. And if you've got more lines in the water, then you're going to have more chances of catching a fish. So that's the whole principle behind allowing you to do multiple searches at once. So one of this time I'm going to search a title match product. So a title match would be something along the lines of when there's no universal product code on the domain that we're buying from, then it's going to have a look at the title. And originally it was just a title. And to the best of my knowledge, and I'll need to be corrected if anybody's improved upon it, but a long time ago, we decided that a title was not enough. Because if on some websites there'd be products that just said like dog bowl, and do you think that that would ever match against the correct product over at Amazon with thousands and thousands of dog bowls? It wouldn't. And then people would come back to me and say, your title matching is inaccurate, and I'm seeing mismatches. And I'm like, well, I can't really help it if the source site has such a vague title like dog bowl. I can't do anything about that. It's never going to match with the correct product over at Amazon. And I thought, well, I can't keep saying it's not my fault forever. So I need to make it so it isn't my fault. So I actually went in there and I added artificial intelligence advanced image recognition. So what it does is it takes the title and it also combines that with, say, an image. So let's say over at Miniature Market, there's like a board game or something like that. It will go in there and it'll have a look at the image of the board game in addition to the title, and then it has a significantly greater chance of matching the correct item over at Amazon. So I'm going to add a deals category here at Miniature Market, and we'll add this to bulk. And I won't change much here. See, here's an example where Miniature Market isn't giving us any automatic store price reduction. So there's no Hail Marys here. We have to do some of the work ourselves. So I've got a little green coupon icon here, and that just gives me a link to Retail Me Not, which is a commonly used website to try and find any particular coupon codes. So there's a promo code here that says 10% off today. There's 44 uses of that today. Without going in and actually outright testing that over at Miniature Market, right now, I can't confirm whether that's, valid. Sometimes Retail Me Not chucks a few false positives, but there's not many details there. But let's include that into our search for now. 10% off, and we're going to search the deals page over at Miniature Market. We're not going to change anything else here. Profit and ROI. One other thing that you might want to put in there is your costs and fees. So let's say, for example, you are prepping this at home yourself. You might have a few labels and baggies that cost you a few cents. And if you are not living in a sales tax-free state, you might also want to put your state sales tax up here as well, so that you can just get that calculation as perfect as possible. However, if you are using a prep and ship house, they might have like a set, say $1 per standard item, or maybe $3 per oversized item. And all of those prices should be listed on their website. And you'll put that in there. And the other thing you might want to put is the cost of shipping that box into Amazon. And that's a per pound cost, and it's an approximation. So I found that normally around the 75 cents a pound is a good place to sort of start for that. Now, one hot tip for a prep and ship house is you should maybe have a look at a place which is in a sales tax-free place, so you're not stacking $1 per standard product plus sales tax. It really depends on what the offerings are of the prep and ship house, and you can work out a few mathematics yourself. But there are prep and ship houses all over the United States and the UK, and you can sort of work out what suits you accordingly. So I'm just going to hit search on that one as well, and that's a couple of searches we've got going on now. So if I was to jump into my search manager, I can see these searches taking place. And I can see that I've got a target search that I started earlier, a few minutes ago, and I've got a miniature market search, which is already operating as well. And there's a few more details we can find this page, like has it started, etc. We can find that we're ticking along quite nicely over at target. We've already got 26 products added, so it might be worth a look and see if any of those products are of interest to us. So this is the view data page. Now, the view data page used to just be targeted at the specific search that we were doing, and then you would clear it and then start your next search. But now we have the ability to run multiple searches at once. You can actually just select the process that you're currently working on. So we have a miniature market there. It's already found a product I can see. Products added #1, and there's the 28 products here. And then there's some products from earlier, Williams-Sonoma search I was doing, etc. And you'll find on here, this is where you sort of start making your match decisions. You can see things in our history chart as to the frequency of sales. This is a nice little chart here because you can see as the price increased, the sales started to slow down, which is indicative of the market. We can sort of see what the buy price is, what the price is after adjustments, what the sell price is, etc. And we're looking for those positive ROI products. So here's a Roblox jailbreak unit, currently selling for $19.99 over at Target. And I can check and confirm that. That deliverability is currently in effect. It's $19.99. And over at Amazon, it is currently selling for, the history chart tells me, about $34. And I'll just dive into that one and have a look for myself. Available from these sellers. I'm seeing $43, but I've got a feeling that's because I'm in Australia and I need to put my VPN on. There is a chance that I'm not being shown all of the offerings. I didn't put my VPN on before I started this webinar, so we could be getting a bit of a bias there. Either way, we're looking at a $19.99 product that's selling in the mid-30s. I might be restricted for this. So we've got a check restrictions button that we built on in here, which links to your Seller Central account. So I'm just going to check if I am unrestricted for Roblox. So in this particular case, I need approval to list this particular product. So I would request approvals using the orange button that was just on the screen then. That's going to be the way of it. When you very first get into Amazon FBA, you'll find that some categories or some brands are gated for you, and you're going to want to try and get ungated in those categories and brands, because the more areas of Amazon that you are open to, the less people are going to be in there. So when you first start at Amazon, everybody is playing in the one unrestricted pit. And then if you say, well, I'm going to put in the small amount of effort it takes to get ungated in, let's say, topicals, for example, in health and beauty, then suddenly there's a whole range of products that might appear from a place like Walgreens that you can sell, that somebody who hasn't taken the time to get ungated in topicals will now have available to them. So you'll continue to look on here and find those items that are ideal. I'm just going to have a look in what's called Tactical Edge. So this little microscope here is going to tell me a little bit more about who is currently on the buy box and how many items each of these people have. So it's a little pop-up page to drill down into a potential deal. We've already kind of confirmed on here that it is the same item. I mean, those products are not only a UPC match, but they're a perfect image match as well. There's no disputing that that is the exact same image. You can spend more time on confirming it's a match if you like, but For the sake of this exercise, I'll drill in a bit deeper here. So I can see that $38.73 is the current price. He's not actually getting the buy box though. This fellow here is at $38.77 and he's sharing it with his other sellers here. Now they have a combined 16 different products. I'm just going to get my phone out of the way because it's vibrating. And there's 16 different products before they're going to run out of stock. And this is selling at 278 units per month. So by the time you've actually packaged up your item and sent it in, or packaged up your few items and sent it in, there's a very real chance that these guys here will have long sold out. And that will start increasing the price to $38.82, $38.89. And if enough of these guys sell out here, then you can start to price it at a much better rate. I'm going to pop in across now to my merch, to my other search that I started, which was miniature market. I can see there's 25 products out of there. Now I wanted to show this because this is the title and image matching, okay? So this is going to be using the combination of the title and the image to confirm a match item. So once upon a time, it was just using the title and the matches, they weren't fantastic. And now we're using the title and the image. And we're seeing a score out of 100. So we're seeing that this is getting a score of 79. It's saying that there's enough little tiny points that we're actually examining on the screen, and we've extracted from Amazon as well. And we're matching those little points up with a neural network, and we're saying we can determine that this gets a 79 out of 100 for matching. Now, why is that score important? That score is important because on the view data page, you've got column filters as well that we built in. We did this last year as well. So in addition to saying I only want to see, say, things like a price range or whether the item is in stock or not, you can also go in and say, I want to only have a look at very good match qualities. I want to make sure that these match qualities are very good as far as the computer's vision comes into play. So we can say, well, only have a look at items that have a match score of only over 80. Now that's going to drill it down, and you can see that those kind of items are significantly better as far as the match goes. Also, what I'm seeing here is that we ran a search on a place which did not really have any cash back, it did not really have any gift cards, and there's still quite a lot of products here. You've got this Munchkin Warhammer game here, which is $12.50, and we'll duck over here. It's selling for $19.26, so there's not a lot of margin in this one. This comes down to me using a low ROI. Now you can always sort by ROI. You put sorting on these columns as well and look just for the higher ROI products. So you've got this one here, which is on sale for $22. It's not particularly selling very fast. It does sell units. However, it's selling for about $50. And I see no really good reason, if you can't confirm that you're unrestricted and whatnot, why you wouldn't shove one or two of these on the shelf. Depends on how many you're up against. So let's go and have a look. We're already up against one other seller. And I love this. It's treasure hunting. I could do this all day long because that's one of the reasons, I've always loved sales. It's finding that essentially tactical arbitrage. It's finding that exact set of calculations which says I'm onto a winner here. This is going to, at the end of the day, this is going to be a profit for me. It's consistently selling at $50 after fees. I can see down here, it's $38.86. That's a $19 profit after we've taken into our account our 10% sale that's currently on at Miniature Market. $19 profit is not to be laughed at. We're only competing against one other guy. You might as well price at the same price as him. Stick a couple of boxes in there. Bam, $40. I'm on to the next product. Okay, so how quickly do you think it would take to cover a monthly subscription? See, the online arbitrage tier alone is, I think, $89 a month. And I could find $89 worth of profit in products in probably another few minutes, very, very easily. And I think it's one of the reasons I've always been in love with this business is I've always felt like I give value for money. Whatever anybody's paying, I expect that they make back many, many, many times for their investment. And that's what that helps me sleep at night and makes me realize that the product that I'm actually giving is of value in return. And as I go down the list here, and keep in mind, I've actually made the match quality particularly tight, and I've made the return on investment tight as well. So there's a lot more products that are sitting here hidden that we can drill into as well. What's this one? This one's selling pretty frequently. The price is a bit all over the place, but it looks like it consistently sells in the $50 range. It is currently $29.75, unless that price has changed over at Miniature Market. $29.75. They got 20 of those in stock. So here's something which I would consider a red flag, and some people might not, but I would consider it a red flag. It's the smallest thing, and this is because I'm such a stickler for keeping things exact. When it comes to dropping a product on another user's ASIN, on an Amazon ASIN, this item looks almost identical, but this one here has got a little sticker on there that says Premium Edition, and this one doesn't. So that is enough for me to say I wouldn't list that. I mean, at first I got excited, but then I saw that there's that one little sticker on there that says Premium Edition. It probably has a small change, not just to the packaging, but maybe to the content. And I'd move on to the next one. You often find that with items, let's say from a place like Walgreens, for example, where it might be vitamin like curcumin or something like that, and be 100 tablets, 50 milligrams, whatever it is. And it's the exact same parameters and even the same UPC over at Amazon, but they've changed the packaging slightly, so the logo is different or something. Yeah, I won't sell that. I won't sell it unless it's identical, because you never want your review to change from 100%. You want your buy box to stay as 100% for as long as possible, and because as soon as that starts dipping into the 97s, 95s, then you will get rotated into the Amazon FBA buy box less. And then that's when you've got to start thinking about, well, do I need to undercut, or do I need to adjust my pricing down a little bit? You lose a little bit of leverage. So you never want an excuse for somebody who purchases an item off you to ever say, this is not the product that I said that I would buy. You want them to be always completely happy. So I'm a bit of a stickler like that. I've thrown away many a good deal based on just the smallest little thing like a logo change. It's got to be an exact match for me, or as close as possible. But you know what? There's plenty of good stuff here. Check restrictions on this. I doubt this will be restricted. Good news, your account has no obvious restrictions on selling this item. It's not a particularly well-known brand, so as soon as you get away from the major league brands, etc., the restrictions are fairly generous, as far as they don't kind of let you in. It says also, gives you that hazmat restriction as well. It says there's nothing hazmat about a board game, which is not unsurprising. So what do we got here? This is $27.90 after our expenses. It's selling for $49.98. You are going against Amazon. Okay, that scares a lot of people. This is jumping around because of the way I've got the columns filtered right now, the order of the filtering, but I can change that pretty easily. So Amazon has the buy box. Now, some people are scared against something against Amazon, but I stopped sending stuff into my Seller Central account a couple of years ago, and the main reason for that being is that I just felt like I had a conflict of interest. I can't really be sending in products to my seller account when I've got access to what's essentially big data. So I've got ethical responsibilities, etc., to make sure that I pretty much stay out of the swimming pool that everybody else is in, who are using the tool that I expect people to sort of invest in. Then I shouldn't be in there as well. That said, I do send in test boxes in the Australian Amazon, which opened up a couple of years ago, because it's good for me to understand and keep abreast of all the infrastructure changes that happen at Amazon, so that I can build those changes into the software as they occur. So as I was saying, everything that I ever sent into Amazon where Amazon was on the buy box sold out. So eventually everything sells. You might not get rotated into the buy box as often. You might want to adjust your price a little bit under Amazon sometimes to make sure you move that item. But long story short, it doesn't scare me when Amazon is on the buy box if there is enough margin on the product. Your mileage may vary. Everybody's got their own set of rules. Some people will never touch it if Amazon's on it. with a barge pole, and that's why I've added the filter in the product search page. Remove if Amazon is also a seller and now in stock. So that item, that option is there as well. Pretty much you can make this as basic or as complicated as you want. So you'll see that I started there by just pointing and shooting, just basically selecting a website and a category, doing very little with the features, and then just operating a search. And the rest of it's just fun. I'm just in here looking at stuff, saying, you know, this is selling, this is profitable, this is, you know, this might not be good enough for me based on a few match stuff. I can think of worse ways to spend a day. But there is something that we built into Tactical Arbitrage a little while ago, because people are always looking for an easier solution. And my response to everybody for a really long time was, you know, come on, it's not that much effort. Doing a little bit of stuff yourself isn't going to kill you. But we thought we might as well add in a curated list of potential deals for every single user. Now, this was complicated because if I add in the exact same list of products for every single user, then there's going to be mass saturation. So let's say everybody got this same Munchkin Warhammer product appearing in their curated list, then they're going to immediately drive these prices down from, say, what is it, $19.26 an item. You know, it'll be down to, you know, $3. Everybody's just trying to avoid those storage fees over at Amazon. But so I made it so that everybody gets their own unique. So nobody's to always be scanning to look the same. It randomly goes through the top 10% of Amazon's catalog, and it does what's essentially called a reverse search, looking for items sort of backwards. Basically, it looks backwards at all of the domains we've got in the system, including any domains that you may have added yourself as well. And it looks to see whether or not those items have profit. I've got European keys in here as well, so it's showing me some German items here. So some profit all over the world, guys. You can always expand your channels. In addition to doing 7 simultaneous searches at once in the US, you can always add in your UK keys and do an additional 7 simultaneous searches at once in the UK, and that's all within the same subscription model as well. There's no additional subscription of TA you need to do. You just add in your European keys as well, and you can start sort of seeing profit there. But I'm going to search. I'm going to check the United States here. Now, it's not showing me all of the items. It's only showing me the top 75 because I've got some column filters on here. These products here, they clear out after 28 days. They get to an expiry point where if you haven't saved the item, and you can save all your items into saved pages for replenishing lists, etc. If you haven't saved it, then it'll disappear after 28 days from this page. This page is always kept fresh. But you can see in the last 28 days, there's been 13,000 items added here, which in itself would keep you busy going through those and looking to see where the goodies are. And, you know, I can see plenty of matches there. That's a wreath. I suppose people need wreaths right now. Sadly, it's a pretty crazy time out there in the world. What's this? This is a telescoping pole. Ace pool. One of the good things about always be scanning is because it's hitting that top 10% of the Amazon category, it takes the emotion out of your search. So you might have originally always had like a tendency to gravitate towards searching the toy category, a toy category of Target, a toy category of, you know, Walmart or whatever, and finding, you know, matching toys over at Amazon. You probably were never going to go and search for a telescoping pole. You might have skipped that category completely. You would probably didn't think to have a look at swimming pools, spa supplies, swimming pool equipment to see whether or not there was any profit there. Well, that's the good thing about always be scanning. It's just a robot, so it's doing that for you. It's saying, okay, I found an item here. You may not have chosen it yourself, but it is an Ace Pool telescoping pole. Serial number 560-16. I'm just checking that because it says over here that it is 560-16. Yep, as well. And it looks like the same pole to me. I want to go into a bit more. This one looks like it has a baggie, and this one we need to have a look at it a little bit more just to make sure. This one, it looks like it might have it as well. Anyway, with a little bit of effort, I can find out whether or not that is a matching item or not. Now, one thing I will say about the Always Be Scanning is it only does UPC connections. So you'll notice here it is an exact UPC match. So most of the items you'll see on the Always Be Scanning page are an exact match. And I would say that after it's automatically added a couple of cashback and gift card sources. You can toggle that feature on and off if you don't want to use those. We are looking at a 62% gross ROI, which is very nice. And there is how many other people selling this item? Let's have a look. There's 2 people selling the item. One of them is merchant fulfilled. He has 4 items in stock at $74. So you know you can price higher than this guy. Now I'll give a bit of a caveat with that. Normally you can price higher than a merchant fulfilled guy. I noticed that with the current COVID-19 situation that they are reducing the size of that gap. They're giving merchant fulfilled a little bit more buy box rotation than normal when the prices are close to each other. Now this is a temporary thing. This is a temporary thing, and I wouldn't expect that to be ongoing once things are settled. But normally you can price higher than merchant fulfilled and be rotated into the buy box more frequently. So he's only got 4. It is selling actually reasonably well, 274 items a month. He's not going to have his 4 items for very long. So above him, the next guy up is actually Amazon. And Amazon's selling it at $91. So you want to do a few more checks to see whether or not they are the exact same item, etc. Drill into that some more. But this is just one item that we picked at random from the Always Be Scanning page. Now, the software is not designed around Always Be Scanning. This was an additional feature we released less than 1 month ago, and already we're receiving rave reviews from people saying that they found fantastic deals that they never would have thought to look at otherwise. Now, I wanted to put a fishing rod in people's hands and make them go out into the pond and catch fish one by one using the product search tool. But you can't deny that it's nice to have this little feature. Even if you've got a virtual assistant in there, curating all this for you, going in, making sure, confirming 100% that it is a match across the board, that the profit is there, and exporting you a list from this list of items that they recommend that you should buy, quantities you should buy, etc. I'll check the restrictions on this because there's got to be a catch here. So there has to be something. Your account has no obvious restrictions on selling this item. All right, so this looks like a potential winner. Deals for days. What's this, a Spartacus thing? I know for a fact I'm not ungated in Blu-rays. Let me check this. Okay, so this is an example. You need approval to list in the video, DVD, and Blu-ray category. Okay, but I'm excited. There's a potential deal here. I think, you know what? I never really thought about getting into the Blu-ray space before. Reasons such as counterfeit, etc. But when we're talking about buying off Best Buy, we're not looking at a counterfeit issue. And selling at Amazon, we're probably gonna have a good time. So let's have a look at this Best Buy item. Yeah, I love this. I love treasure hunting. What are we looking at? $25.99, 13 disc, complete collection, $25.99. Let's go across a bit more here. So you notice some adjustments are in here. Now, I've got some adjustments built into this page because I'm always running tests. And so I wanted to simulate a scenario where somebody has a 4.7% sales tax, that they're using gift cards available from Card Bazaar, and that they're using cashbacks available from sites like Greenback Street. Now, you can adjust all this and say, I will never, ever be using a cashback from Greenback Street. I will definitely be happy to use Ebates. So you can then set Tactical Arbitrage up so that it only ever shows you the Ebates cashback, and it'll input the correct percentages accordingly. It does that work for you. It's actually born from a tool that Christopher Grant made called Rev ROI, that him and I came to a deal where I could actually take the Rev ROI tool and build it into Tactical Arbitrage. So it's been really good. I love it. And the gift card, let's say Best Buy, you can get $100 gift cards for $90 each over at Card Bazaar. That's ostensibly a 10% discount. And so by the time we spit out those calculations, we're looking at $25.12 for this item. I haven't even seen the ROI on this yet. Probably a bit premature to get excited. So if that's correct, it's selling for $64.47 over, and it's a merchant fulfilled seller as well. Okay, so I'm interested. Okay, $48.07 after fees. So I'm interested. It's making me kick myself. Why haven't I taken the time to get ungated in Blu-ray? For now, I might just want to save this item, and I can save it into a folder marked Blu-ray potential deals, for example. I can label it Blu-ray potential deals, and then I can circle back later after I've been ungated and see whether or not this pricing is still current. Or if I'm pretty confident that I can get around those ungating procedures, I might pick up a couple of these now. Let's see how frequently it sells. We can go in there and see that the estimated sales on this is 22 sales a month. It's not always priced this high. It is selling for, say, $59 now, but it does sell as low as $29.95 from time to time. So you definitely want to take that into account. You don't want to be caught out with a product that's going to return to this older price. So all of these things you want to take into account. If you're seeing a price like this one above here, which is just slow and steady consistently, this $116.25 all for days, then that gives you a lot more confidence that it's probably still going to be around the $116.25 mark when you send it in. So we have added in some additional things here, including, what is the average price over 30 days? What is the average price over 90 days? And you can help, you can help with some, tactical decisions, I guess, based on that. There's a few other things in the view data pages. They're all the same on all the view data pages. I've added this box mainly because I like to fidget. So I can just kind of just rotate this box here. It tells you kind of roughly what size you're looking at. But we added another feature, and I think it's cool. I don't know how many people use it. I don't get a lot of feedback on it. But somebody said to me once, they sat me down and said, did you know that if you're sending in over 18 of one item, that it's almost always just going to go to the one warehouse? And I said, I haven't really heard that set in stone. And they said, it frequently happens for me. And I said, all right, so I'll add a feature just for those who swear by that, called how many fit. So it's like how many of these will fit into a Lowe's box. So you put in the dimensions of, say, like a Home Depot box or something like that here, and you hit calculate. It'll not only tell you, so I'll just do an example here. It'll not only tell you, say, how many will fit into that box, but it'll also tell you how to pack them. So it does a little calculation, and it starts telling you the best way to sort of lay them in the box here. I've built too big a box because I can fit 69 of those items in the box. Anyway, if I chose like a actual size Home Depot box, it would tell me that you can actually fit X amount in there, and wholesalers love this particularly because if they've got like a bunch of stuff from a wholesaler, they can send it in that way. And mind you, sometimes the wholesaler, you never even take the stuff out of the box. You just rebadge it. But speaking of wholesale, we do have a bunch of other things. So the online arbitrage tier comes with product search, wholesale search, and we just released this. Okay, so we're always working, we're always adding things, and this is super cool. And this is actually proof that I don't send stuff in anymore because it shows you that all my products are dead and dark gray. So this is called View Inventory, and it actually goes into your Seller Central account and spits out a list of everything that you've ever sent in. Now, why would you want a list of everything you've ever sent in? Well, first of all, it's a good reminder of what you once sold out of and what could possibly be worth restocking. And secondly, you can run reverse searches on these pages and find out if any of those items are currently profitable again based on current Amazon prices and the domains that you usually source from. So that is a good way of doing it. You can actually drill into the specific shipment that you are looking at right now. And this little bell at the top here, this is an unreleased feature which will be released tonight, hopefully. I've got one more test to do on it. And what it'll do is when you've made a sale over at Amazon, it'll go dingle dingle, and it'll say your units available for sale of this Paw Patrol shoe has just changed from 6 units down to 5 units. And so you're there, you're sourcing away, and you get a happy little burst of dopamine when you get notified that you've just made a sale. It'll also make a little noise like that when your shipments have been received at Amazon. So that's kind of cool too. And I really wanted to stick that in there so people can get an idea of kind of what's going on in the background while they don't take their focus off finding products to sell. I could bang on about all the stuff that's in TA all day because we're always adding stuff, and we've got a list, longer than all my all my family's arms of things that I still want to add and improve upon. It feels like it's a never-ending journey just to improve and improve and improve. But at the moment, it's at a point now where I feel like anybody who wants to get into this space can jump in and start, making a living for themselves, providing they get through those first few iterations of, obviously you have to make some mistakes in the early days and find out what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what your flow is that works for you, what suits you. There's a lot of ways you can get into it. Like there's the product search and reverse search I mentioned is for the online arbitrage tier. There's also a standalone wholesale search for people who are just exclusively wholesale. Or there's a product online arbitrage plus wholesale tier. Or there's the full suite, which encompasses what's called library search as well, which is very book-centric. If you just wanted to scan an Amazon category full of books and see whether or not you can find a used book perhaps to buy and then send in again and sell at a higher price. So all of that stuff's built into TA, and I understand it can look a little bit daunting at first, but we do put a whole bunch of tutorials built into the software. There's a video guide on the side of the page here. You can pop that open and have a look at videos relevant to product searching. Some of the newer features aren't in the videos at the moment. I probably need to refresh some of those. We're adding some of this content into a help document as well. And there's also third-party things like the Tactical Academy, which is not my product, but it's a very well done tool guide on how to use tactical arbitrage as well. So yeah, that's a little oversight. Sorry, I didn't get into your little game of. Sorry, I didn't get into the game where you tell me your domain search.
Hey man, we'll save it for the next time. That was a lot of value that you dropped in there, brother. That was a ton of value. It's crazy that you actually were able to build a tool. I can only imagine the undertaking to be able to put something like this together. And wow. So if you guys enjoyed this video right now, then drop a 1 in the comment down below. Let us know that you enjoyed this video. And also we're going to go through and answer a couple of your questions, if that's cool, for a couple more minutes, Alex, because there were a couple questions that came in.
No problem at all.
Awesome. So David is asking, can tactical arbitrage be used in Canada? And someone was asking about that in the UK as well.
Yeah, sure. Tactical arbitrage can be used in Canada. So there's a couple of different ways to use TA in Canada. So you could just sort of work with the domains that are in the list. So I'll just tell you how many how many domains we currently have in Canada. We have, so the United States has 427. There's over 1,000 globally.
Wow.
Domains built into TA. And I recommend that you play in as many of those as you want. I mean, Germany is super unappreciated. There's so many great sites in Germany, and it's a really big Amazon. It's a super busy. I think it's the second or third biggest or busiest Amazon store in the world. You need to understand, of course, things like VAT and all of the different tax rulings that they've got over there. But once you've wrapped your head around that, maybe with a good accountant, then definitely another source of income. Canada's got 58 sites. We're open to adding a lot more. Feel free to send us in the names of stores that are not on this list, and we will have our guys add them. But in addition, as I mentioned earlier, you can always go into what's called our advanced user page, and you can create a new rule. And with the help of a coder, you can actually just add. So let's say there's a Canadian store called, Clothes for Ducks. Mighty Ducks, clotheforducks.ca. You can add in the XPath details and data in there, and on your way, you can start searching that as well. As long as that data is accurate, you can sort of start running searches there. There is even some third-party companies that create XPaths for people who want to add that. But Canada is definitely working, and you can use that. You could also, and I want to show this because it's a hack. Nobody really knows about it, and it's not heavily advertised. But if you were to just look at a list of websites here, you see what you see. But if you go cross-country, sourcing from Canada to sell.com, then appears in the list is Amazon. So you can actually source from Amazon to sell at Amazon from Canada to the US. So that only appears if you're going cross-country.
Very interesting.
That's a little behind the scenes.
Yeah, man. It's a little hack, a little TA secret right now on the Rake and Profit show. Hey, we got a question from a Platinum Wholesale Group who was very engaged, asking a lot of questions during this show, asking, why do you have to search store by store instead of searching them all as an aggregate to make sure you're getting the item at the best price too?
Yeah, so he asks a good question, and I didn't really touch on the reverse search feature, but I'll pull that page up just quickly now. So reverse search would be basically what Platinum Wholesaler has said, and shout out to him. He mentioned he has his own pinball machine at home, so he's a man after my own heart. So in reverse product search, you would do almost exactly what it suggests here. It's reversing the other way. So we're going to have a look at Amazon toys. We're going to have a look at Amazon categories, action figures, and statues. Okay, so now when I run a search, it does that aggregate. It's going to point backwards and try and find matches between the Barbie dream house that it finds on Amazon and says, okay, I found this Barbie dream house at 7 different locations. Now, 2 of those actually have good margins. The other ones are all negative margins, and we're not even going to bother showing you those ones. That's depending on what you've got set here. So that is the reverse search. And like I said, when you're running a product search, you might as well be running a reverse search at the same time. It is so simple to start a reverse search. You just basically pick a category you want to look at for the day, set a few settings in there, and hit search, and it'll go back and do that aggregate that you were talking about.
Got it. Hey, got a question. There's a lot of people who follow this channel. They're drop shipping. Some are eBay, Amazon, Shopify. Do any of your subscribers use this software for drop shipping? Is it recommended, not recommended? What are your thoughts on that? Is there any value there?
Look, I understand it is a viable business model, but the nature of drop shipping is I think it puts your account at risk in a way that would more likely be going to start giving you some negative reviews. And account health is so important at Amazon.
Absolutely.
If you sell something using the Amazon platform and then it turns up in a Walmart box, that's going to cause questions. Now, if you've been doing some drop shipping before to eBay customers, etc., you're probably getting away with it, and it's probably not such a a huge drama if somebody on eBay, an eBay buyer, buys something and it turns up in a sort of Williams-Sonoma box or something like that. They're probably going to not think too much about it. But if they're buying something off Amazon, they're expecting it to come from Amazon, and I need to confirm 100% whether or not it's even within Amazon's terms of services. I've heard quite a few people sort of say you shouldn't do it, but I don't know whether it's written in black and white on Amazon. Do not do it.
I have quite a few friends of mine who are doing over 50 to 100K a month drop shipping with Amazon, and they all say you've got to be extremely careful because Amazon doesn't like it. eBay, none of these websites like it. They don't.
So there's ways around it. You have a relationship with the supplier to say, always provide my stuff in plain packaging, never include an invoice in the box, that kind of thing. And providing you can build those relationships in certain areas, there's always a way through anything. But I see that as due diligence, and if it's within your sort of management role that you can actually accomplish that via your policies and procedures, then if you can pull it off, more power to you. But I certainly can't recommend it from my position.
Got it. Yeah, no, totally understand. Let's see. I'm just looking through some of the questions that come through. Yeah, I don't see a lot of the questions are the similar questions that you already asked. Someone was asking, is this software for eBay as well? It's not really made for eBay at this time, but maybe in the future. Let's see. People are asking, are there coupon codes offered? We do have we have an extended trial link in the description if you are interested in that. Is there any other piece of advice that you can offer as we kind of get to the end of the show for somebody who is maybe traditionally thrifting? You know, maybe we're used to going to library sales, thrift stores, garage sales. We're used to being able to source, you know, in the physical form, and now we're having to adapt because we realize, you know, in business, the businesses that succeed long-term are the ones who could adapt when things go wrong. And in business, there's always going to be things that go wrong, whether that's your business or it's the economy or there's something going on. And that's been a big learning lesson of my own, you know, over the last 7 years is things are always going to go wrong. Things are always going to change. And the people and businesses that survive and thrive over time are able to adapt and change. And right now it's just a perfect example of you've got to change your strategy. So I think this is a great option. Is this perfect for everybody? Is this something that everyone's going to love and enjoy? I mean, maybe not, but you've got to try different things and you've got to change. I think this is a great option. So what advice would you give to somebody who's a bit nervous about using a software and maybe just on the fence about it?
Okay, so first of all, you need to understand that to operate Tactical Arbitrage, you need to have a professional seller Amazon account. I didn't mention that earlier. So it is what drives the engine. I think that Amazon professional seller account, most people looking to get into Amazon would immediately get that because it's the individual account might be free, but they charge you, they cut a little bit out of your profits for every single item. The professional account's, I think, $39 a month, and it gives you the MWS keys to operate Tactical Arbitrage. So everybody using Tactical Arbitrage has an Amazon account. But once you get in there, then people who are into thrifting, they would probably want to dive into, say, the library book, especially if you're familiar with buying books. It's one of the only areas in Tactical Arbitrage where you can focus on used products. And you've got... we just expanded the media on this. If you share the screen again.
Okay.
So the good thing about library search is what it'll do is it'll show you if a seller has a book for maybe, you know, $2.45, used book in good condition, and it'll say that's a merchant fulfilled seller at $2.45 plus $3 postage. But it normally sells as FBA in very good condition for $15.99. So it'll find you those particular deals, which is kind of like a thrifting thing. But we did just add not just books, but additional forms of media on there. So we also got used options there for software, movies and TV, CDs and vinyl. So that's expanded the catalog significantly. We've kept the name of the place the library search, but it's becoming more and more of a misnomer as we add more used items in there. But, as far as good advice for people, I would say consider a college education. The amount of money that costs you, the amount of years you have to put into it, and the limited guarantee that you're getting that you're going to come out of the other side with an absolute guaranteed job, with an absolute guaranteed salary, etc. And consider the learning curve on a piece of software, whether it's Tactical Arbitrage or, you know, any other sort of piece of software. You can close the screen if you like. And I would say that there's no comparison at all. It's just such a small investment, whether it's a month worth of sending in thing. You might send in something on the 22nd of May for your very first ever batch, and you might have sort of read the graphs a bit wrong and you might only break even. And then the next time you say, oh, I can see what I did wrong in the graphs this time because I've read a bit more into it and I've learned a bit more about what the software can do. I've run a few more scans. You make a small profit, you get excited. The next time you leverage up, you've got a virtual assistant helping you. You're finding a lot more products. You're scanning more things at once. And then by the time you send in a few shipments, I mean, it might only be a couple of months, and you're, light years ahead of where you were when you first started out. So I would say, don't be afraid to get the education and spend the time on learning it in the early days, and go through a few iterations of sending stuff in, make some mistakes, and
now's the time.
You'll be fine. Yeah. Oh, now is the time. But like Tactical Arbitrage hasn't suffered at all, because more and more people are realizing that a home-based business is nice and safe right now. And if you don't even, like, some people don't want to even touch a box. That's where you use a prep and ship, the prep and ship service. You can send your stuff to a prep and ship house, and you can do everything just via, when I was running my entire United States Seller Central, my FBA account from Australia, I didn't fly over to America for every single shipment. I sent everything from the online arbitrage stores to a prep and ship house. I remained in communication with them. I did all my bookwork and my paperwork from here, and the entire thing was just this, turnkey solution. Rotate it all from the other side of the world. So if I can do it from the other side of the world, you can do it from your house without ever touching a box if you don't want to touch things right now. So
it sounds too good to be true, but there's hundreds and thousands of people right now who are utilizing tactical arbitrage or just online arbitrage in general and using prep centers. So it's a real thing. I actually have a video on this if you search my channel, Rake and Profit Prep Centers. Last question, Alex, and it was from Robert, and Mark Center was mentioning that he'd like an answer to this question as well. So people, yes.
Just a ginger ale. I was asked if it was a Miller Lite.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So theoretically, let's just say, a bunch of people after this video, they sign up for the free trial. I believe it's 10 days, 100% free. They can use this software. They go in, they run some scans, they find a profitable product. Is the item you purchase sent to you? Then set it up to ship into Amazon? What's the next step after you find the product? So, I mean, we talked about you can utilize a prep center, but let's just say somebody sources a product, it gets shipped to you, you send it to Amazon. What's the next step?
Okay, so if you're sending in a shipment into Amazon, you'll prepare your shipment of ASINs, which is the Amazon SKU. Amazon's got their own set of codes, their own sort of set of basically identifiers for each particular product. So they're going to say to you, all right, so you're sending in a Barbie dream house. Hopefully you're sending in smaller things than that, because smaller items are going to be easier to manage. So you're sending that in. They're going to require you to prepare the item. Now, there's some simple preparation type steps. Some items are going to need what's called a suffocation bag with labeling, like a plastic bag with suffocation labeling, warnings on it, etc. Other items are going to need a specific, or every item's going to need a particular Amazon barcode that's there. And that's going to have to either cover up the existing barcode on the item or go on the outside of the bag that you're sending. There's a few preparation things. There's plenty of videos out there about how to prepare an Amazon item to send in. And if you don't want to do that, of course, because you're trying to avoid sales tax, or you just don't have the hours in the day you want to deal with that, then of course that's when you can ship it to, say, a fulfillment center like FBA Prep and Ship. I think if they're still in existence, or Prime Zero Prep is another one. There's quite a few of them out there, and utilize those services to do that work for you. Of course, once everything is prepared, then you go back into the Seller Central account and you say, all right, guys, I have a box. It is 10 inches by 14 inches by 24 inches high. It weighs this amount, and I want that shipped to you. And they'll say, all right, UPS will be at your door to pick that item up. We're going to debit you by $7.69 for the dimensions and weight that you told us about. And then they'll come take it away, and you just forget about it until it starts popping up and selling.
It's a process, just like learning the software, learning to send in your first shipment and go through that is a process, but a great skill to learn. And now's an excellent time to learn, if you're only selling on eBay, how to send in a shipment. And there's so many videos on YouTube now that will just walk you through the process step by step. So I hope you guys found value in this video. I'm not going to keep Alex too much longer because we're about 20 minutes over the time limit. But I appreciate you, Alex, adding so much value, answering all these questions. And I truly hope from the bottom of my heart that people, if you're struggling and you're having a hard time finding inventory, that you look into Tactical Arbitrage. Check out the free trial just for 10 days. Even if you're not going to go ahead and purchase a plan, try it out for 10 days, give it a shot, play around with it, find a few products, and I think you might find it a really good fit for you. So Alex, thank you so much. For anyone interested, you go to rakeandprofit.com/TA. If you do, use the code RAKEN10, all one word, for an extended free trial. And Alex, much love. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time, and people really enjoyed it. So thank you so much, and we will talk soon. I hope you all are safe and have a fantastic night.
You too, man.
Appreciate
Cheers.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks.